during the process of photo shooting of German photographer Matthias Meyer. I am a German Hanoi-based photographer. After some extended traveling around the world working with different creative teams, I still feel the excitement of Hanoi, the very interesting city. I try to focus on street photography and to balance work and private photojournalism. I find my creative inspiration in the Hanoi's corners, or just the small market corners, of the voice of seller and the buyer. This is what I like when creating and developing a distinctive photography language, which can combine my skills and my love for discovery and use the materials to create the image. My style today is very straightforward and simple. I love corners in Hanoi, the excited aspects of Hanoi. Hello and welcome to Showing Vietnam, coming to us at 11:45 a.m. on VTC10 Netviet. And the initial report showed us the general activities and the view of Vietnam through the lens of one German photographer that based in Hanoi currently, Mr. Matthias Meyer, and it is also the topic of our discussion today. So let's welcome him in our talk show today. And hello Matthias, and really nice to meet you today. So how are you today?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me here.
All right, so how long have you been working and living in Vietnam?
Actually, I arrived in August 2011, and if I look back, it's already 2 years, and it's an incredible fast time passing by.
All right, so we just wonder that at the beginning, what brought you to Vietnam, and you know that then you got into the photography here.
Let's start with the last thing, how I started with photography. That's a very easy one, because I started with 14 years with photography, and it is like a constant companion to me. In between I had some breaks, but most of the time I'm doing photography. And Asia was always a part of the world which I wanted to go, and especially Vietnam, because of the rich heritage and the different cultures I could find here.
All right, so we can see that you have a lot of the beautiful and interesting photos of some cities in Vietnam, like Hanoi, Hue, Hội An, right?
Yes.
So among them, how can you withdraw the whole pictures of Vietnam on you?
This is not as easy in small words, but because there's a rich variety from north to south, from the sea to the mountains, and especially when I was in Hue and in Hội An, I was very interested in the history and the historic parts of these cities, and this was incredible, rich photographic material I could get there.
All right, so experiencing 2 years living in Vietnam, how do you balance your life, your current job and the photographer career?
That is not so difficult, because I have my camera always with me, so when I walk in the morning to the office or back in the evening, I have some chances to take some photos, and the weekends, and of course I have holidays, and then I take some special projects and go to some special places.
Yes. So Matthias, I guess that the audience Showing Vietnam today are very curious about your photo collections. So let's spend a few minutes to know more about this collection in the following report. Matthias Meyer, with a passion for photography since very young, He has moved to anywhere in the world, but when coming to Vietnam, he was actually surprised about the scenes as well as the energy of a developing country. Sometimes returning to the village with little deposition of quiet space, the old roof, the poetic scenes were caught with wide frame. The photos make a serene and relaxed mind. One factor that often appears in the image of Morpheus, which is the specification of Vietnamese people, with so many colors, mostly black and white. He has recorded the images of Vietnam farmers or craftsmen who are working hard every day. Having the opportunity to go to many places, discover the beauty of the natural surroundings of Vietnam, he has recorded many beauties from the sea to the mountains, the famous tourist destination of Vietnam. See these pictures, the more we understand and love the country, and the more beautiful greenery of Vietnam. So Morpheus, I see that you have a variety of photos that are taken in Vietnam. So if you have to choose one thing, one feature to describe the Vietnam to a new foreigner who just come here, what will you say?
This is a very tough question always to describe only one thing. But I think if foreigners come to Vietnam, they certainly will come to Hanoi. And in Hanoi, I would recommend to go to the Old Quarter, because I think it's like a living museum. It's a museum which is not frozen in time, but it is reinventing itself every time and every day. And here they can experience real Vietnamese life.
Wonderful. So I can notice that you also take many photos of both the people and the landscape in Vietnam. So can you tell us one of the most impressive story that during your time the traveling and taking photos about the Vietnamese people and the landscape here?
Actually, I have to go back to the last question, and it's again the Old Quarter. I had so many nice contacts in the Old Quarter because people are so friendly here in Vietnam, and even if I can't speak Vietnamese, they try to help me, they try to get in contact, and there's a lot of communication with hand, feet, and sometimes I met someone who speaks English or French, and then it's even better.
And I also see that you have the photo collection about Hanoi named Hanoi from Above, right?
Yes.
Yes, it's too interesting, and with a different and interesting perspective of the people in the city here. So experiencing that workplace in Vietnam, do you like most? And could you tell us the reason that you are falling in love with this city?
Okay, now it's like a mantra. It's as well the Old Quarter, and I like it the most because there is a mixture between history, modern. There are so many things are changing there, and it is for a photographer. It's the best time to be here now, because then you can take photos which can't be taken afterwards, because some things are broken down, some things are built up, and as well as a photographer you need to know your environment. If you go there and you know which time, how is the light and how react the people, then it's much easier to take good images.
All right, so could you share with us and the audience about your future plan of the photographers in Vietnam?
Actually, I have just made up my mind to do something and going back in time. I want to take some images with large viewfinder, so large format photography. And I'm looking as well for a Vietnamese photographer who might still do this. So that's getting easier then. But if I don't find one, I will do it on my own and figure it out. So this is part of the fun.
Yes. So can you introduce the audience here the website of your photo collection, and then they are interested in finding and knowing more about your photo, and they can, surf this website easily?
Yeah, sure. So it's on www.kiribane.org.
Yes.
And it's the same Kiribane photography on Facebook and as well in Google.
So this question has wrapped up our show today. And thank you so much, Matthias, for coming here and joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
So
it was a pleasure.
Yes, so we are looking forward to having more and more your photo collection about Vietnam.
Thank you.
And that concludes our show today. Thank you for watching Sharing Vietnam from VTC10 NetViet. And if you have any questions or recommendations, please send an email to showingvietnam@vtc.vn. And for the last minute of our show today, please draw your attention again on the screen and know more about the Vietnamese images that appear on the photo collection of Matthias. And see you again.